we found out that on one of our badlands there, that there was a lot of hazardous nuclear waste being dumped there. And with this contamination, it's causing a lot of cancer. We've been having funerals every week, every day, there's somebody dying. And they're like 30 and 40-year-old people. And this is really a devastating thing that's happening. And that's been brought up to the United Nations also.
Well, it seems like they would be looking into that before they expand these railroads.
Yep.
I mean, because you talked several years ago about the uranium in the water and the way they were polluting the reservation.
Yeah. So we're reminding them all the time. And hopefully that when these chairmen went to Washington, D.C., this will all come out too, because we gave them all the reports. And hopefully that's probably why they're creating this tribal historical preservation, so we can monitor all these things that are going on, which they never did before. So
that's true. Is it a national
THPO?
The oversight bureau.
Tribal historical thing?
Right.
Yeah, it's a national thing. Every tribe has a monitor, and they're monitoring in their areas.
And you wonder how good are the MOUs if they never kept the other treaties either.
Yeah,
so.
See, that's what we bring up all the time.
Right.
How do we know you're going to keep your word when what happened in the past with the treaties? A lot of people tell us not to think about the treaties, but we do, because that's what we're learning on.
Right.
And we're telling our young people, and we're hoping more of our young people get involved. This is your land, this is treaty lands, this was set aside for us to live undisturbed, but yet they came in disturbed, you know. So there's a lot of things going on. It's a lot of work.
And you said some of the land has been sold off?
Some of the land has been sold off. The BLM took the land, you know, and our people, because of hard times, they don't think about it, and then they sell their land and they regret it later on. So it's really hard, you know. Sure. It's that divide and conquer they use. They scare the people. They tell them one thing and they do another thing. So we're catching all these loopholes too. So I guess in a way, I'm glad that they taught us English, because we're learning and we're seeing what they're doing. Yeah. And it's kind of, you know, it's just kind of funny, but.
So what are your next projects? Where are you traveling to? I know you're always traveling. My
next travel, I got invited to Russia and Bulgaria. And I guess there's some powwows going on, and there's Indian settlements over there. Probably going to monitor or something. But I've been, you know, I get a lot of invitations, but then because of my health, I've been slowing down and trying to recover myself, and then didn't go. There's so many things to see and report and record as history for our grandchildren, because we're thinking more of our future generations, our 7 generations, and their generations.
Right.
If these things are gone, we no longer exist. We're no longer who we are. And we got to let them know that we're still here and we're still a people. Are the younger generation receptive? Not really. It's gotten so because they're colonized now. I mean, we're losing our language. We just had a language summit meeting, and they were charging $300 a person to attend the language summit. And I was like, this is our language. We don't have to charge. Right. But they're making dictionaries, and they're bringing the language, but the language isn't as accurate as my grandfather's, my grandmother, my late grandmother and grandfather talked. I could speak a little bit, but my wording is different. This is why it's so important. You need to know your language real good, because when you go to ceremony, these words are sacred words. And because they're sacred words, they work. So if you don't know it and you're just praying anyway, it don't work. You wonder why your prayers are not being answered, because you're not as spiritual, and your prayers have to be just accurate into that. Just like one word, there's one Lakota word that I learned. It's called Wichozani, life or health. We is God, Cho is beautiful, Za is strength or strong, and Ni is life. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words put together to make health, the word health. So this is how important our language is. It's not just little words that, people just play with our words too, so it's kind of hard.
Oh. Now, you've always lived there in the same area. Do you think your health, you've had a lot of health problems recently, has that been attributed, do you think, to being raised there? Because I know you were mentioning a lot of the kids, the family members and so forth have different illnesses.
Yeah, I think so. I think I blame the water again. Then we blame the air too, because we got out of open uranium pits that are still not cleaned up. The wind blows, and it's blowing downwind. There's a variety of things, especially the water, because this little town called Edgemont, South Dakota was an army depot, and they had a uranium, they had some kind of a uranium thing, their pit or a pond, and the linings broke and went into the aquifers. And this was in the early, late 50s and 60s, early 60s. From there, they started noticing that our children, we started coming with kidney failure, cancer, diabetes is really coming strong because of the aquifers that underneath the reservation's been contaminated.
Well, we're really glad you're here with us today. And we're going to bring you back again because we want to know what's going on and where you're at and where you're traveling. And we're going to look at some of your pictures throughout the show. And thanks for being here, Garvard.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week on Native Voice TV. Good night.